What's going on, dudes? It is Kolosalus here. I just couldn't resist it, man. I'm a Santa. I'm a gamer Santa. Look at that. Anyway, welcome to this special video. Christmas edition of review series I'm starting. Finally, I can get... Sorry, let me get this. Yeah. Let me just, start my series. I always wanted to get into the reviewing scene, but I've never actually got a chance around to because there were playthroughs, gameplays, commentaries, stuff, and other stuff. So I never had time, and I had uni, I had work, and all that crazy stuff, but enough of that. You know what I'm saying? Next gen just launched. My Xbox was right there. And I played some games, and I think I can, as a really long experienced like a gameplay person, or just even gamer to gamer, you know what I mean? I can give you best advice out there. Well, not the best, but one of the best. And just I can kind of see other things people can't see. So just the first thing I wanted to let you know is that my reviews are strict. Very, very strict. I like my games, you know what I mean? The highest ever rating I gave to a game was 8.5, and that was to Witcher 1 back in the day, because I thought it was a breakthrough RPG that brought something out of the game to the real world. But I'll come back to that maybe in some other video. So if you see a game that's 5 out of 10, that's a good game. It is. It's really, like, for me, 5, it's a good game. Like, when I see... It's not like when you see like IGN reviewing a game and giving it 5. They say it's alright. It's bad, but it's not good either. You know what I mean? It's not bad, it's not good either. For me, 5 is a great game. So that's just what I wanted to get out of the way first. Let's get into this, shall we? So today, first episode, we're gonna be talking about a game that's really been under a knife, at least for me, because I hated the previous installment in this series, and I was one of the people who thought that this game is gonna become a yearly rinse and repeat of games. Basically, you have a certain formula, and they follow that formula over and over, and just adding some stuff like Call of Duty Battlefield and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. The yearly, and they just add some stuff to the game. But fortunately, this game proved that yearly development is enough for the game to be good, to be great. And the game I'll be talking about today is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Xbox One Edition. There's no difference between Xbox One and PS4. Believe me, I've played them both. No difference at all. So that you get your disc and stuff and there. That code has been already used, so if you want to try it, go ahead. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep it here. So basically, this game is made by Ubisoft. Okay. I hated Assassin's Creed 3 because it was boring, and it like basically give you such a long beginning of the game that by the time you think you're already kind of getting to know the characters and the story, you're already finished. You've done the game. You've beaten the game. There's nothing for you to do except for boring ass collectibles. So let's get straight into this game. This game right here is something really different. So I have my little notepad here, which I'm gonna kind of stay on track here. So the story. Let's start with the story, and I'm gonna go story, pluses and minuses, and then another topic, pluses, minuses, and then so on and so on. So this is really interesting because this separates itself from previous games. There's no kind of like backslash on both previous games, on Assassin's Creed 3, 2, 1, Brotherhood, Revelations, any one of those. The character in this, the main character, Edward, in this game does not know anything about previous Assassins. So you're kind of it's a great idea because you can then get new people into the series. The protagonist, the Edward character, he is a father of Haytham from the third Assassin's Creed, the main Templar from third Assassin's Creed, and a grandpa of Connor, of the main protagonist in Assassin's Creed 3. And Edward has a different approach than any other protagonist or hero we've seen in Assassin's Creed games so far. All of those heroes were about the creed. Okay? They were born and raised to, obey the creed, to be this, super assassin that, fly as a guy with his blade and stuff, is trained in fighting skills and stuff like that. This is nowhere near what Assassin's Creed 4 is. This guy only thinks about his profit. That's it. If there's money involved, and this is going to be his money, he's in. He's a pirate. The game starts off, I can spoil that because that's not really a spoiler. He's English. He wants to get rich basically, and he travels to America to become not a privateer, but a kind of a pirate way. A privateer, but in a pirate way. So he boards ships, gets loot and stuff like that. Until really far into the game, he's not a real assassin. He's not actually assumed to be assassin by other assassins. But spoiler, there are more assassins in the world that we're playing in. So the game does a great job of introducing you to the character. Amazing job. The character is funny. He's cheesy. He's a pirate. That's what it is. He's kind of laid back a little bit. He's not on top of all the things. He can fight very well because he was in the army before. So he basically leaves England and his beloved behind him, to become this kind of a privateer pirate guy. And that's basically the story. And the story has a great ending. I finished the game last night, and I have to say this is one of the best endings I've seen. Even though it has some drawbacks, the story itself, ending is so good. It's very emotional. I'm not an emotional guy, and I've got really emotional at the end. You feel like you've completed a whole chapter of this guy's life, of this hero's life, and you don't want to end it. You want to keep playing. You want to go back and rewatch those moments again. It's so good. I'm going to talk about minuses right now. I'm going to talk about the side story in a second, but the minuses, even though the story itself is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, they could have gone into some of the plots, because there are a lot of plots in this game. There's a love plot, a friendship, a war, a rivalry, all that stuff is there. But the game developers, maybe for a reason, but maybe not. I don't know if they did it for a reason, okay? But they didn't go into the plot enough for me to get hooked right into the game. I was hooked, but I wasn't actually there in the game because the game was so shallow and it never actually went deep into any of the plots. That's one bad thing. And the other one thing is the camera work in the cutscenes. I have to be picky here because I'm really picky with my games. The camera work in some of the cutscenes, I'm not saying all of them, but in some of the cutscenes is just terrible. Watch out, because a lot of the environment will get in the way of the camera. And that is what happens when you have cutscenes in an open world game. Let me get back to the good sides again. Let me get back to the side story. It has this kind of a main side story, if you know what I mean. It has, it has the main story, the main side story, and then all the side quests and, all the hunting, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And it's called the Templar Hunt. And what it does is you have to collect 5 keys to get into a certain area in your hideout. And those keys can only be obtained from Templars. I'm not going to tell you what those keys give you. I've already unlocked them myself. And I've went through all those missions. All of those and basically the Templar contracts are like a set of one Templar contract is a set of 4 missions. You have different bureaus, different assassin bureaus, which you have to gain trust from. So they actually give you the opportunity to get the key from the Templars. And you basically have to help them. And then at the end, you kind of assassinate, the Templar. You get the key, and that's you done for that one. And each bureau has a main character in it, and every single character I found in that bureaus are their own diversive, personalized characters. They all have their own personality, which is great, amazing. To see that the developer focused so much on a side story is amazing. It's really promising for the series and for the gaming itself, Second thing is gameplay. Gameplay is the most important thing. That's how we get around the game, how we feel the game, and what it's about. So, main thing you're gonna be doing in Assassin's Creed 4 is naval gameplay. You're gonna be swimming your ship. You're gonna be sailing your ship. If you didn't like sailing or naval gameplay in Assassin's Creed 3, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not gonna like it here. It's different, it's the same, but it has the same principles, but it's way different. It has way more opportunities. It has been extended a lot, and it's just night and day of what it was before. In Assassin's Creed 3, it was just like an addition to the land gameplay, you can say. You're running around the wilderness, you can say. Whereas here, it's the main gameplay. It's an open world. It's not a sandbox. It's an open world, so everyone gets the same kind of world. But you can go anywhere at any time. But you have to progress in the story to get to certain places and certain areas, because that would be just too easy and too cheesy to actually go to the place where you have to go in a certain mission, kill that guy before you actually have to kill him. Travel time is not boring, to be honest. What I found in Assassin's Creed 3, some of the travel times, even between those battles you had to do, is boring. It was. But they've implemented so many things, like other ships actually that are not friendly, but they're not also enemies. They're kind of neutral. They're just gonna fly by you. You can check what resources they have. If those resources are useful to you, you go get that ship. you go get that ship, and you have 2 choices. You can destroy it or you can board it. If you board the ship and you kind of fight your way through, you have to, from 1 to 3 challenges. It depends on the size of the ship. Once you complete those challenges, the ship is yours, the loot is yours, and then you have 3 options. You can send it to your fleet, which is another great addition to the gameplay. You can destroy the ship to repair your own ship, or you can send the ship away so it tells other ships to not look after you, because you're actually friendly. You basically just took some of the loot and let them go. So let's stray away from naval gameplay for a second. Yes, you can upgrade your main ship. The ship is your main mean of transport. It's not horse anymore. There's no horses, which I kind of... In some cases it was bad, because you had to get from one place to another in the city, which was a great distance, and for example that still wasn't discovered by you, so you couldn't fast travel. But once you get into like main story and main game, then it doesn't really matter that much. So what they try to do is to try to implement the Far Cry 3 crafting system. So so it is necessary to improve your character to get through the game and beat the game. It's not the case in Assassin's Creed 4. You can beat the game without actually improving a single thing on a single piece of inventory on your character. That's true. The only thing I did it for is because I want to get 100% of synchronization in the game. That's the only reason I did it. It helps to have more health, more darts, more more knives, whatever you want, more bullets. But it's not necessary, and that's not necessarily bad. But for me, I really loved Far Cry 3's crafting system because it was needed. Here it's kind of hit or miss. I don't really like it, or I just don't mind it. It's there, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. One thing I have to say: side content is the main thing about this game. A lot of time you will find yourself distracted by amount of side content. Sometimes I thought it was too much. That's just thrown at you. Even though at the beginning they just give you some missions, some kind of missions. I think at the end they give you just too much. But then you get your head around it. It's not it's not that I'm stupid. I'm like, oh my god, I can't handle so much content. It's just they really throw stuff at you. They say, okay, go hunting here. Okay, there's a new hunting event appearing here. Okay, there's an island there. Go find that treasure. Okay, there's an assassin contract over there, and that just gets thrown at you constantly throughout your gameplay when you're, for example, sailing. There's so much stuff you can collect. There are shanties, which are amazing addition to the game. So simple, but amazing. Shanties make the travel so nice, and you basically don't feel the time passing by. There are bad shanties which I don't like, but you can just easily skip them with a skip button, and they just they sing another one. You don't have to listen to the shanties, but they're there. You can also collect like chests, which are from the previous games. There's animus fragments, which is kind of like flags. You can compare it to flags or something like that. There's hunting. You can hunt and then skin the animals to get the crafting materials. There's just a lot of stuff. There's harpooning. You can hunt for sharks, which is a new thing. One thing I gotta say, there is gameplay outside of Animus, and that story is kind of twisted. You don't really know what the hell is going on up until the very end, where the faces are actually shown to you. The faces in game and outside, in Animus and outside of Animus. Then you kind of know what's going on, but not really. Still, but it is still interesting, and there are some collectibles outside of Animus as well to collect. There are sticky notes, and there are hacking computers, which is kind of fun as well, but it got boring after a while. I just gotta say that the story outside of Animus is interesting. That's all I gotta say about the story outside of Animus. Next thing, fighting. Fighting is good and bad. Good in the sense that it's still simple. You press B to counter, and then you have few options. You can kill the enemy. You have him as a human shield. You can counter him and then throw him somewhere, or counter him and do like a special execution with the item you are equipped with. For example, pistol. He will block the shot, then hit him with his elbow and just aim at his face and shoot him right in the mouth. It's cool, but still that really simple system that kind of been here since Assassin's Creed 1. So it's nothing bad, but it's also nothing nothing too spectacular. But one thing I gotta say is that the animations on fighting are so good and so well done. You actually feel like he's a real pirate. You actually feel like, he's there fighting mostly not fair, to a certain extent. You can see him, like doing like dirty shots, like, basically like a nut kick. Or you can have, he'll, punch somebody in the nuts, or he'll punch somebody in the jaw, and then, cut something. There are a lot of like dirty stuff that pirates did to win fights. That's what he does. That's amazing. That's one thing I love. Role of the cities. So one thing you gotta know about cities in previous games was that the cities were your main gameplay. In previous Assassin's Creed, the environment between the cities were just like a filler. It was there to fill your time, maybe some challenges, some hunting, some collectibles and stuff. But other than that, the cities were the main gameplay. Here, the cities are the filler. So your main gameplay is the open world, and the cities are the filler, where you do the missions, where you get the collectibles, and you do the challenges and all that stuff. And I really like that. I think that the city should be just like a bus stop. You stop there for a few seconds, you see what's up, you see who's there, you see what's new, what's old, and you get out of there. You get a bus to another bus stop. And even though they're bus stops, even though they're kind of like bus stops, I use bus stop as a metaphor. The detail in the cities is so well done. Like, all of the streets are different. They don't usually like stand out, but they're all different. Like the amount of detail, you can pet the animals that are around there. You cannot kill the animals inside of the city, but you can pet the animals like cats, like dogs. You can blend in into crowds. You can sit on the bench, just chilling, just seeing what's up around you. It's amazing the amount of detail they put into this game. It's really good. Now let's get to the bad sides of the gameplay itself. And the only one I could think of when I was actually writing this down, because as I was playing, I was making myself a note of every single thing, every single piece of information I thought would be relevant for this review, is free running. Free running is still broken ass piece of shit that I've played since Assassin's Creed 1. That bothered me through days and nights when I played the game since the first episode in Assassin's Creed series. The collectibles sometimes, shanties run away from you. When you pair that with really bad free running system, sometimes it's impossible to chase those shanties. When you want to do a cool assassination, for example, instead of running up the wall and jumping onto the guy, he kind of sticks to the wall, and the guy just escapes from you because of course he's oblivious, but he just kind of walks away, and you can't assassinate him from that wall you wanted to run up. Or you're just trying to run by the pole, but he just kind of clamps there for some reason. Like, for example, when you're escaping guards, he sticks to the pole, and you're there stuck. You're vulnerable to the hits and everything. So that's still broken. It's not bad. They improved it from the last game. The free running is still is good, but it's broken. That's what I gotta say. They have to fix it somehow. I'm not sure how. I thought about like solutions, but all of them would kind of make the free running too simple. Even though it is really simple, they would make it even simpler. Even more simple, I'm not sure. Is there a word like simpler? Probably not, but I'm just gonna use simpler. So that's basically it about the gameplay. There's much more to go into, but I just didn't think that would be relevant for this review. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the audio and the visuals. Let me just get to my page. Assassin's Creed 4 on next gen, I haven't played on all generation consoles, is stunning. It is absolutely gorgeous game. It has some anti-aliasing issues like the previous games had, where some of the edges weren't just rendered properly. Some of the facial hair and stuff doesn't look too good, and some of the effects aren't that realistic, but overall this game is stunning. It's one of the better looking games out there right now on next gen. And that's really impressive, because this game has an open world. It's huge. The world is bigger than it was ever before, and I kind of understand that, because now they have next gen, they have bigger discs, so they can pack more stuff into the disc. But just to achieve this kind of detail and this graphical greatness with such an open and huge world is something like I consider this to be a piece of art, to be honest. That's how great to me it seems. Another great feature about the visuals and the gameplay kind of, again, is the transition between the naval gameplay and the land gameplay. It's almost seamless. You only get loading times when you're going from a major city, like a big ass city, to the main kind of roaming world. But when you're just like entering like a small island, there's no loading at all. You basically just pull up, to the bay, and off you go. Off you go to the island or wherever you want to go. Same with boarding. There's no loading between boarding. I was really afraid that this loading screen, this motherfucker that was with us there all along for all those years before, is going to be there. It's going to take us out of the gameplay and put us back in, which kind of destroys the purpose of the boarding, to be honest, because that's just so fast paced and all going. But they destroyed that motherfucker. They destroyed the loading screen. And that's what's amazing about this game, is that you can board the ship, you can go back to your ship, you can board the ship again, you can do whatever you want. You can go back and forth. You can even jump out of both ships and just go, to an island, that's 20 meters away. So that's really good. The water physics in this game are the best water physics you will see in any game, because they made it so it's so good, because so many gameplay features kind of use the water physics. Like, for example, of course the naval gameplay, there are storms, and there are those really kind of big waves that come at you. You have to basically face them to avoid any damage they take to you. And just the way that the camera works around your ship, it makes it so it is so good to look at that. You basically feel like you're on the ship and you see that wave coming at you. It's so well done. It just blows my mind away. So one of the best water physics you will see anywhere. Amazing weather effects, but there's a but. They come in too often. The weather would not change so much in any normal Earth environment. You can be playing and there's gonna be a minute of sun, then it's gonna come nighttime. And you're like, what the hell? Why did they just go from nighttime to daytime? And then before you know it, there's daytime again. Like what the hell? What the hell just happened? Did nighttime pass already? And then it's sunny. It can go from sunny to to being just cloudy, to raining, to be cloudy, sunny, and that cycle can be completed in 30 seconds. I know that this is a kind of a Mediterranean environment, but in the game it doesn't look too good, because I myself don't like rain. So for me to change the weather so much, it's not really that good. It's not really that realistic, because I know that the weather can change quite quickly, but not that quickly. There are a lot of glitches, a lot of animational glitches which don't pull you out of the game, but they're there. There's a lot of twitching, especially when you're boarding ships, especially when the ships are kind of moving like really slowly, but they're moving. It happens a lot when, as I said, when you board ships. You know, he's kind of doing the animation of like an execution animation, and he's kind of twitching there in place. Or, you know, you're supposed to make a guy that you just countered a human shield, but the guy just falls, and you kind of there like have like an invisible human shield in front of you, and the guy who's actually shooting at you, you know, he doesn't hit you, he hits that invisible guy in front of you. So there are some stuff that happen like that, but it's understandable, and it doesn't pull you out. It doesn't like stand out so much because we've seen those like glitches and bugs before, so we kind of get used to that. Audio, it's amazing. It is really good. I don't have anything to say to the audio. The voice acting is top level. The soundtrack is top level. Shanties, I have to mention them again, are amazing. They're there. If you don't want them, you can turn them off. If you don't like the certain shanty, go to the next one. I kind of used to be a sailor myself, and you know, to hear those shanties back, you know, like with like a proper voices of of voices that kind of sound like pirates is amazing. It is just really amazing to hear them, and it makes the game much more fun. And sometimes it was the reason why I came back to the game. You know, I was like, all right, let's hear some shinies. You know, let's hear some shinies in this bitch. Also, the audio is adapting to the environment, which is good. You know, if you're in the marshy land, the music will become like really slow and calm. When the storm comes, the game's this audio is just fast paced, and it gets your blood going, it gets the atmosphere. And that's really it about the visuals. The visuals and audio are really well done, except a few things. So that was a really long time I just talked there for, but we kind of come to a conclusion. I've just scratched the surface on each of those. We kind of went deeper, kind of scratched in, if you know what I mean, into those three sections. And I didn't mention all the stuff because that would take me like 5 hours. Well, maybe not 5 hours, but 2 hours at least. Me talking here about gameplay itself, or the audio visuals. Well, the visuals are kind of simple, but the story, and I didn't also want to spoil so much story. But the verdict, my final grade is 8 out of 10. Yes, this game is so good that I gave this game an 8 out of 10. And going back to what I said at the beginning, I'm really strict with my games. The best game I've ever played was an 8.5, which I gave to Witcher 1. This game is an 8. And if this game would go more in depth into some of its plots, if it didn't have those graphical glitches, if the free running wouldn't be broken, and if some of the glitches that I had to restart the game for, sometimes those glitches happen, I would give this game a 10 out of 10. I would. The game is so good. It keeps you entertained. It gives you, maybe not 10 out of 10, but 9.5 out of 10, because this game isn't the longest either. It's to complete the story, it will take you anywhere between, if you do just the story, nothing else, just complete the story, it will take you about 6 hours, this game. Myself, it took me about 17 or 18 maybe to get to, 22 something hours to get to 80% right now. I'm sitting at 80% of total synchronization. And I'm gonna keep playing. It's gonna be probably one of the only games this year that I'm gonna do 100% out of. So yeah, as I just said, if this game would kind of really work on the glitches they had in the previous games, as well as the developing new ideas, this would be really close to being a perfect game. But it's not, it has glitches, it has those audio and visual glitches, the plots is shallow, really shallow is there. It's not that great, but it is shallow. But they also do a lot of good stuff. They show you how to actually take care of the cities, how to take care of the detail, how to do right storytelling, right, side storytelling, and that really amazes me. Ubisoft have done a great job with this game, and I give this game an 8 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. My first ever. This is a Christmas edition, but it's probably not gonna go up on Christmas because Christmas is tomorrow, and I'm just too tired to do anything more. But anyway, that's been Assassin's Creed. Buy this game. Peace on the streets.